Hi everyone, this is Lisa Harden. I'm a longtime stamper and I want to welcome you to my first exclusive YouTube series. This series is called Ready Set Stamp. The intent is to get you stamping if you've never tried it before or keep you stamping if you've never stopped. I'll be covering the basics to stamping and paper crafting techniques, and we will build on those basics each week. All the while though, we will be creating. One of the great things about stamping and paper crafting is that you don't need to have much and don't need to know much to get started. So while we learn, we will create. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I sell all of the products we will be using to customers in the United States. Please note that I'm recording this on August 2nd, 2020. Our products occasionally retire and or are on back order during this COVID pandemic, but by and large they are available and ready for you now. At the end of this video, I will show 2 slides that include information on the products we will use today. Feel free to take screenshots of those so you'll have your shopping list at hand. Then you simply just go to thestampingzoo.com, hit the Shop Now tab, and enjoy. Please know that you can contact me directly through my website or my Facebook business page, and I love helping my customers. I will post new episodes for this series every Sunday at 3 p.m. If you want more Stampin' Zoo, I can be found on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. I go live each Thursday night on Facebook, so please join me there as well. And finally, if you enjoy this video, please let me know by subscribing to this channel. I also read your comments, so please say hi to me. Tell me where you're from and what your stamping experience is, and anything else you'd like me to know. I'm so happy to have you here, and again, just welcome to you wherever you are today in this stamping world. I'm coming to you on a very hot day from my home in Boise, Idaho, northwestern United States, and I'm so excited to start Ready Set Stamp, right? I guess so. On that note, let's take a look at the product we're going to create with today. First of all, you get a little hint of what this is. This is one of Stampin' Up's beautiful all-inclusive kits. Stampin' Up, one thing that Stampin' Up does very well is kits. And this one, all you need is this kit and a pair of scissors, and you can create. Okay, so we're going to take a look at what's in here in just a moment, and I haven't created with it either, so we're going to be creating together. I hope that works out. You never know with me. First of all, let me tell you though, Stampin' Up! Has some great resources for you. Again, if you've never stamped or if you've been stamping like me for over 25 years. We have beautiful catalogs. Here's the first catalog that I always give to people regardless of their stamping experience, but it's very small, concise, and manageable, right? It's not overwhelming, it's not scary, because we also have 2 other catalogs that are current right now, what we call our annual catalog, and this runs from, I just want to check the exact dates. This catalog is current from June 3rd, 2020 to May 3rd, 2021. Then we have a holiday mini catalog that runs from August 4th, 2020 to December 31st. It might be a little bit after that. Let's see here. Yep, August 4th to January 4th. Oh my goodness. So you can order from any of these 3 catalogs right now, and they are so full of some great products. But let's just talk about this one for now. By the way, if you want any of these catalogs, any and all of these catalogs, and you are not currently working with a demonstrator and you live in the United States, please let me know, because I would love to send you these catalogs. Okay? All right, so this one's called Make Beautiful Things. We'll show you how, and that's what we're going to do on this series. I want to point out this kit is full of products to get you stamping right away, like we're going to do today. And they focus on letting you know all of the supplies that you will need to have, showing you pictures of the actual stamp sets, and they let you know whether they are whether they're at 100% or so on. Sometimes the stamps are much larger, so they need to be shown at different percentages. So that's an important thing to know. You get beautiful color photos of products and finished cards, everything. They will often show you exactly what's included based on the numbers, and then obviously the prices. So I want you to just keep your eye on all of these things and look at this. It's so fun. Cute fruit, right? Who doesn't want to make a banana with a mustache? Or a pineapple with a mustache. Okay, then we have zany zebras. They've been so popular. And the really cool thing about zany zebras is they don't have to be black and white, right? Because you are the creator. You can make them any color you want. And we have a great happy birthday set in here. And then we have what we are going to use today, which is the Simply Citrus All-Inclusive Kit. This kit will make 15 cards with envelopes. And at the end of that, you will still have probably some little extra paper supplies, but you will definitely have this beautiful stamp set that you can keep and use on other products. You'll also have a little ink spot, and that can be reused for a long, long time. It's a great way to start accumulating different ink colors is by using Stampin' Spots. And we actually have, let's see if it's, we actually have a little set of Stampin' Spots that is sold right here. So this is number 4. For $24, you can get 8 different ink colors to start with, and that's a really great idea. Today we're just going to use the ink spot that's in the kit, okay? We're not going to stray, but please don't forget, this is the perfect catalog. And also some of these stamp sets that are in this catalog are only in this catalog. So very seasoned stampers shop out of this catalog too. We all use it. Okay, let's take a look at our kit. Like I said, first of all, you get this nice sturdy cardboard box that's printed. You can use this for another gift, or lots of times we like to make the cards themselves as the gift. So you may make all 15 cards, put them in this box, and then give them to a friend and just pass on the love. All right, let's take a look at what we have though. Ooh, so exciting. It's always exciting. And this is obviously probably over the 100th kit I've opened, but it's always exciting. First of all, I want to show you that the supplies come packaged in such a way that they're perfect. They're always well kept. Now in this one, the Stampin' Spot is Night of Navy. I can bring that a little closer, sorry. And this is a great one to have. This is in our neutrals. Now immediately I am going to open this. It's just kind of right here. I am using something that will be listed at the end on those screenshots, remember. This is an additional tool that is nice to have but not necessary. Okay, this is called our Take Your Pick tool. And it does lots of different things, but one thing it does is it has a paper piercing tool on it, and it's very handy to open those. Okay, so then this is a water-based ink. I think I can get the lid off without putting my thumb in it, but no guarantees. Okay, let's see here. There we go. All right, nice and juicy, all ready for you to create. Sorry, my camera is in a little bit different spot than it normally is, so I will try and make sure that you can see that clearly. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side. Notice I set this upside down. We like the inks. It's just a habit. It doesn't matter for your immediately stamping, but when you store inks, it's a very good idea to store them upside down if the ink pad does not already automatically do that. And by that, this is a full-sized ink pad. And the way it opens, there's a little flip tab here. It flips up and then you swivel it around. You do that because our Stampin' Up! Ink pads are made to automatically store upside down. We like them to store upside down because that keeps the ink, gravity, keeps the ink to the top of the ink pad. And that's normally what you want for the best stamping impression. Okay, so look, you've already learned a little tool of the trade. Now, these are called photopolymer stamps. We have stamps, or we offer stamps in two different mediums. Let's just talk about the photopolymer stamps for right now. What's the great thing about them that you can tell immediately? They are clear. They are see-through, so when you put them onto an acrylic block, you can see exactly where you're stamping. There's really no guess. Now, these stamps over time will take on a little bit of pink coloring. They get stained a little bit. That does not affect the usability. You can do certain things to minimize that staining, but for right now, for today, we are just going to talk about using them and cleaning them with water. Okay? Now, let's take a look at what's in this kit. Oh, first of all, very important. Usually on the flip side of a kit, there's a folder in there that has beautiful pictures, again, just like in the catalog, but it also has something we usually need, and that's instructions. Now, a lot of times after you've made kits for a while or cards for a while, you can simply use the pictures to make your kits. But we're going to treat this as if we've never done a kit before. So let's take a look at this. So you've got the excellent pictures. They're a little enlarged, so you can see if things have been put up on Dimensionals or if they have Twine and whatnot. Now there's different languages, of course. English, French, Dutch, Japanese. I will not be attempting to read that. But then there are colored pictures with all these numbers, and you go, what is that? Well, it's very simple. Let's take this for an example, because it's a beautiful card. I can't wait to make it. It's got numbers 1, 3, 2, and 6, right? So we just go over here to the English instructions, and we need to know, let's see, I think I can do this. There we go. So when we go over here, it points to the sentiment, just a note, and it tells you to stamp it in Night of Navy ink, right? Then number 3, right here, what does it tell us? It tells us adhere using Stampin' Dimensionals. We're going to learn all about that. Then number 2, it's pointing to these cute little flowers. It says adhere using Adhesive Dots. Good to know. And then finally, that number 6 says wrap twine twice around the panel, then tie in a bow. Okay, I can do that, right? You can do that, more importantly. Okay, so now that we know what this is, very useful, don't throw it away. We can get into this kit. Now I always save these cardboard bases because I in turn make custom kits for sale, and when I do that, I like them to arrive perfect like this. So oftentimes you will find that sort of cardboard in the kits you purchase from me. Just an FYI, in case you wonder where I got the cardboard for the kits I use in your kits, I get them from Stampin' Up! Materials. I try to reuse everything. So that's just one example. Okay, let's take a look at this fun stuff. First of all, we have this block. This is a great block. I haven't seen I haven't seen the blocks in the kits lately. It's engraved Stampin' Up! And should you ever think it came from somewhere else, this is a block that we letter our blocks based on the size. This block is called D. If you get a block inside a kit, just know that Stampin' Up! Has made sure that every stamp will fit on this block. So you don't need any other blocks. Now you'll accumulate blocks as you learn to stamp and get more and more different sizes, and you may not always be doing all-inclusive kits, right? But save this because it's very useful, and D is actually one of the most commonly used size of blocks. So that is going to go with our stamps. And oh, I love a fresh clear block. Some of my blocks, now they last for years and years, but some of them, they get a little scratchy. I might not clean them every single time I use them. So it's always nice to see fresh, crystal clear block. They start out that way. Okay, let's take a look at our embellishments. I like to call this our jewelry, our zhuzh. We've got some little flowers. Let me bring that up here. They're awfully cute. Now, lots of times, embellishments that are in the kits, sorry, I'm a little closer. The embellishments that are in the kits are exclusive to the kit, and I think that's true with these. Like, I haven't seen these anywhere else. They're almost iridescent. It's like they're kind of like a hard plastic with a sheen to them. Very cute. They have centers in them, so if you wanted to use them and actually sew them onto the paper, you could do that. We're not going to do that today. Guess why? Because I don't sew. Oh man. Now, the other thing that's included in the kit, like right off the bat, it will tell you what you're expected or what the kit is expected to make. Okay, you have enough supplies for 15 cards, 3 each of 5 designs. You'll also have all these different things. One thing about Stampin' Dimensional, or about Stampin' Up, is that everything is color coordinated. That is really one of the secrets to Stampin' Up's success, is we have 40 base colors, about 40, I might be off there a little bit, and then we have 10 colors that are called in colors, and we'll talk about that some other time. But all you need to know is it will always tell you what color the adhesive, or what color the different items are, so that you know you can pull coordinating product from your existing stash. And you're going to have a stash. You'll have a stash after you finish this kit because you'll have some extra supplies in here. So it tells us right off the bat, these are the colors that are used in this kit. So that's always important. So back to what brought that up in the first point. This is a baker's twine that is Calypso Coral and White. Isn't that fun? Oops, and there's more flowers in there. See, lots of flowers. You're not going to use those on 15 cards. You'll have probably enough flowers for 15 more cards. This is a really fun twine. We have the fun, what do I want to say, of using this a lot. Let me see if I can get the color a little bit better. There we go. All right. So this is a really fun one. Yes. Okay, I'm going to open the blind just a little bit. This is not a highly edited video. You will probably not get a highly edited video from me because I don't enjoy that kind of thing. I'm going to do what I enjoy with you because it will come through. So if you are looking for a highly edited video, I'm probably not the YouTuber for you, but that's all right. Everybody has a different style, and there are lots of highly edited videos you can watch. I'm just letting you know this is not one of them. Okay, we get this very large sheet of what we call Stampin' Dimensionals. You can see here that what it is it's foam that has adhesive on both sides. And these are pre-printed, so they're just little hexagons. Hope I'm saying the right shape. And they're going to be sticky on both sides. And that is what's going to allow us to pop sentiments and whatnot, different elements up on the card so that everything doesn't have to be stuck flat to the card. And you can kind of even see this in the photographs, right? This appears to be standing up on this pre-printed banner. So that's what a Stampin' Dimensional is. We saw that in the instructions. And this is a sheet of adhesive dots, very similar to the glue dots that we sell on the roll. You do need something to remove. These are also double-sided, but they are not dimensional. You do need something to take the backing off of them though. It's kind of hard to get a nail under there. Okay, so again, that's why I recommend the take your pick tool. Okay, let's take a look at these envelopes. Oh my gosh, that says happy, doesn't it? Look at these. So I bet we're going to get different designs. Let's see here. Maybe just 2 different designs. Oh my gosh, so cute. So here we've got all sorts of citrus with the bright pop of the leaves, and then here we've got these hand-drawn polka dots. So cute. Oh, I'm in love with it already. And then of course you can stamp on these envelopes too. Our envelopes are very high quality paper. They're not just like the afterthought. They're just as high quality as the supplies for the cards themselves. So just know that you can stamp on those. I wouldn't watercolor on them because they're not watercolor paper. But other than that, you can use your stamps, and we will do that today. Now, here are the card bases. So, right, we have 3 of those. Then 3 of these, again, that hand-drawn polka dot with Calypso Coral. Oh, and sometimes there are supplies in the middle of the cards. That's how they keep them flat. So sometimes you need to go searching. And these are all of these little stitched elements that we will be stamping our sentiments on. Beautiful. Okay, then we have 3 more right here. So pretty. And then we have some more inserts, right? Now these are die cut pieces that you saw in the pictures that will be popping up on cards. You can do all sorts of extra things with those too. And then finally we have, oops, no, we even have more. We have some more there. And then we have these 2 designs. So let's take a look at the designs of our cards again. We have 5 different card bases, remember, because we're doing 3 of each design. Ooh, it's already like, look at that. It is definitely simply citrus. Beautiful. Okay, I love that already. Then here are the extra supplies. And you'll have multiple sheets, most likely. And then you do for this. And for that, you'll get 3 of each of those sheets. Okay. And then I think 3 of these too. Okay. All right. 5. Sometimes I like to count these and know, like, do I have extras? Do I not have extras? Now in this particular case with these, you get 5, 10, 15, and there's 15 cards. So you don't have extras of the sentiment shapes. One thing to know though, is that you can always turn them over. Let's say you make a little mistake. It's okay. Only one side has the stitching detail. Whoops. Sorry. Again with the camera, right? The light's not perfect. There we go. Only one side has the stitching detail. But if you flip it over, that's okay. That's fine. Nobody knows the difference, right? Okay. It's just a what if. But always know that paper has 2 sides to it. And so that should help you not be stressed out. The other thing I use is I use our grid paper. Now you can use any, let's say you don't have any grid paper. You can use typing paper or recycled paper. You want it to be kind of thin. You could even use old cardstock if you had that. But this is where you're going to test. You're going to test your stamps. You're going to try them out. Take them for a test drive on this instead of on this, right? And that minimizes, I hate to call things mistakes, but that minimizes mistakes. And it also kind of lets you know how a stamp is going to look. Also, with photopolymer stamps, sometimes they need to be, I want to say seasoned. Not like a cast iron skillet. It doesn't take that long. But the first few, this is what I always think of it. I think of it like a pancake. Like the first few pancakes, you know, they're not really the best pancakes. But once you get going into the third and the fourth and so on, the pancakes get really good. Well, that's the same thing with photopolymer stamps. They probably have some sort of a film from production on them, and that needs to be worn off a little bit. The easiest way to do it is to just stamp with them. One other thing I like to do is I like to just rub them onto my Simply Chamois. What is this Simply Chamois? What is this dirty little thing I'm using? Well, this is a chamois. This will be listed on at the end with those little supplies I told you about. This is something that you just simply run under water, squeeze out most of the water, and then you can clean your stamps with it. It is sold just singly like this, and then we sell these cases for storage, and it fits perfectly in there. Anyway, this will stay wet for several days depending on, you know, the temperature of your room and whatnot. And I just keep it at hand, and this is by and far away the majority of how I clean my stamps. This just gets all of it. So the final thing I have here is not listed on the last page because it just came back into our inventory. So you can buy it if you're interested in it. It's minimal. It's probably $5 to $7. But you'll have to ask me for the code specifically, and I can call and get that for you. It's called a paper piercing mat. But one thing it's really great for, you can use it for paper piercing, okay? But one thing it's really great for is if you slip it under your grid paper or your test paper, it provides a little bit of a cushion for these kind of stamps. Photopolymer stamps in particular do better when they have a little bit of a cushion. And these stamps, frankly, the lines are so thin that the difference will not be that noticeable. But the difference is definitely noticeable between using the paper piercing mat and not for stamps that have a larger image that are inked. So I just get into the habit of always using them because I want to use something that will give me the best impression. You can get a similar effect, like I said, by just stacking up some typing paper, recycled paper, something that gives you a little bit of a firm cushion. Okay, that's pretty dense foam. All right, so we've kind of wiped these off. We think we can probably start. Yay! All right, let's see here. Let's start with that card that I thought was, you know, so pretty. They're all beautiful, but let's start with that one. Just a note. Now, the sentiments we have are just a note. Hello, sunshine. Thank you. No, thanks for being you. And way to go. I love it. Just a note is great in particular because I shouldn't have done that yet. I should tell you about it. You just peel these off, okay? And you keep this paper there on, this hard acrylic sheet, because the sentiments and the shapes are stamped on it. So then you know how to put them back. You know if you're missing one, that happens, right? Then you lay it down so the stamp part is down on your paper. And you just take this block and you just stick it to the stamp itself. And the photopolymer material is made to stick to this acrylic really well. So you're not going to have much trouble. All right, so everyone likes to assemble their cards differently, right? I like to assemble my cards by doing the stamping first, generally. There's always an exception to that rule. But so let's stamp this, and it said to stamp it with our Stampin' Spot, Night of Navy. So one thing I like to do when the stamp when we're using a Stampin' Spot is I will take the Stampin' Spot to the stamp rather than stamping down on it. It's just my personal preference. When I'm using something that's smaller than the stamp, I generally like to turn it around and stamp it. And you just kind of pounce it on there. You can't squish it into it because of the type of material this is. It's a linen stamp. So then we just try it out. Oh, it's already beautiful. Just a note. Just a note. I might do it again. A little less pressure. Even better. I can't tell you how much pressure to use because everyone's different, right? You might totally work out, and so you might use a lot more pressure than I do. But the good thing is, you just have to try. Okay, here's the circle. Now, circle's great to stamp on because it doesn't have to be straight. Or alternatively, it's going to be straight no matter how you stamp it on there. You literally just push it down on the paper. Now we have this great little sentiment. Just a note. Isn't that so cute? I love it already. Yep, that's a good one. Okay. First part done. Now remember, I'm going to take that chamois, I'm going to just rub this back and forth. Okay, and this is a perfect example. See how this is stained, just slightly pink. You can still see through it. It does not change the stamping quality of this stamp at all. That's just what happens to photopolymer. So no worries there. Okay, now I can see that we have the card base that has these beautiful hand-drawn polka dots on it. Then all nice and white inside, so you can stamp on it, the inside. You can write. So it's all ready for you. And then then we'll just like gather our other pieces. I want to make sure you can see those, see our picture. We're going to need the twine. We're going to need some of the flowers, right? I will remove this for right now, just so it doesn't, it makes a little bit better picture for the camera. We need the blue banner. So remember when we were looking at all of our supplies, we had 3 different sheets, and that's where this is, and they're pre-cut, so just falls right out of there. And then we need, it looks like we need this beautiful background. This is already colored, but this is also an example of what you can do with this stamp set that you received. So you can make your own citrus slices and leaves and color them with all sorts of different coloring tools that we will talk about in another episode. We can't tackle everything at first, but just know that if you have other coloring tools, then your choices are endless. Okay, so it tells us to adhere using dimensionals, adhere using adhesive dots. Number 2, it's telling us this base needs to be adhered using adhesive dots. So now the other thing is I always set things aside and then think I've lost them. I haven't lost them. We're okay. All right. So I just need to like take the backing off of some of these, or sometimes they come off whole like that. And they're just like little super sticky circles of glue. And they really like to stick to acrylic nails, so be warned. You have to, sometimes they stick there better than paper, I think. Probably because it's just frustrating when I'm trying to film something. I try to hit the corners, right? This also is a personal choice. You can use as many or as few as you want. Remember that this is for the whole card kit, but that's plenty. I try and hit the outside, at least one in the middle, and lots of times I might put an extra one if there is a shape that is a little unique. Let's say the tail to a unicorn. Well, I don't want that to come off of a card, so I would probably give it its own glue dot. Okay, and once we have all that off there, oh my goodness, we're going to set it down. This glue dots aren't really something you can peel up, so you want to make sure that you're putting this where you want to. You can use a ruler if you need to. This is another reason why the grid paper is so great, because you literally can kind of just look on either side or reinforce that by running a ruler across the card. You kind of use these dots too. And also, this doesn't need to be like perfect, because that's not really what we're after. We're after handmade. So if you want it slanted like that, put it slanted. I like it slanted. It's very cute that way. But I'm going to hold myself to the recipe, at least for the first card, right? So we're going to do that. And then we can tell from the picture that the twine runs behind the blue banner. We also know that the banner gets put up on those little funky things called dimensionals, remember? Because we saw that in the instructions. So we're going to want to run our twine first. And the instructions told us run it twice and then tie it in a bow. I can do that. Even on a Sunday, I can do that. That's easy stuff. Do you need our scissors? Now these are our paper snips. We do sell these. They're in the annual catalog. Very affordable, very sharp, so be careful with them, but they're sharp on purpose. That's what we want. And it's just great for just lots of crafting we do, whether we're cutting ribbon or paper, very handy. I highly recommend them. I have several pairs. Okay, and I can tell this is going to be tied off towards the end. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it. Sometimes you might want to wait until you put all of the other elements on the card to tie the bow. But for right now, I think we're kind of safe just tying it. The picture is so helpful in telling us where these things need to land, right? And I'm not going to cut the tails. I might not cut the tails at all. I like long tails. You might not. You might like them really short and not fussy. And that's okay too. I kind of like them long and flying around the place. Now here's my banner. Sorry, see? It's the only thing you have to put up with when you're watching me is I set stuff aside and then I feel like it's lost, but it's right in front of me. Okay, so we're going to put some of these on the back of this banner, just like we put the glue dots on, only these just peel and stick. Same concept, only there's a piece of foam in between the sticky stuff. And it's so fun. This really only needs 3. Okay, so again, you take the backing paper off of that. You will find these all over. I routinely find these on my dog's nose. Doesn't matter if they've been in this part of the house or not. Definitely, they're all over the house. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of tuck that in. First of all, I have some guides as to where I want this, because it's the point of this element, right? So I want the banner to be on the either side of the points. And right there I know, yeah, I like that. Now I will do this side, and already we have the makings of our card. Now let's see here for our sentiment again. Sometimes I need to do that. This sentiment, according to the instructions, again uses the adhesive dots, right? So we're going to pull some of those off. I should set this down. That's how I would normally do it. don't know about your part of the world right now, but it is going to be 100 degrees here today. And I call that perfect stamping weather. Actually, I believe it's supposed to be about 102, but I hate to say that. And a few days ago it was 105. It really does make a difference between 100 and 105. Not that I like 100 either. I actually like it when it's about 55 degrees. So I don't get that a lot. And I never get that in August. Okay, this gets set down on the front of the card. I do try to make the sentiment straight with the banner. Again, you don't have to though. We'll do another one probably where we make everything off kilter, and then you can see just another look. Okay, finally, it has 3 of these little flowers on the design, so we'll just do that. Lots of times we will use embellishments in groups of 3 or 3 total. 3 is pleasing to the eye. That doesn't mean you can't use 4. This is your card. You can use 4 if you want to. You can use multiples of evens. Maybe that's going to be your signature. And lots of times and I think it's a general way people do that, is they always kind of form some sort of a triangle. Sometimes you have to kind of look, but that's, you know, that's the good part about it. You don't want it to be such a straight little triangle. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the flower onto the glue dot. You can't see the glue dot because it's clear, of course, but I'm just going to put that. What? Oh, well, I couldn't see the glue dot because it's not there. It must have come off with the backing paper. Okay, let me try that again. Let me try to show you that trick again. Okay, it came off with the backing paper, but no worries. You're just going to take the glue dot to the flower. That's my point. Okay, so then again, using something pointed, and they will just stick down. Oh, I like them again because there's a little bit of shine, right? They have they catch the light. See, that's perfect. That's what jewelry is supposed to do. Catch the light. And believe me, there's a lot of Stampin' Up! Jewelry. You have no idea. Maybe you do, but if you haven't looked at the catalogs yet, you have no idea. We have the best jewelry. In fact, sometimes people take our embellishments and actually do make jewelry out of them. Earrings, bracelets, key rings. You can make all sorts of stuff with these supplies. For all intents and purposes, I am a card maker. I make cards every day, and that's my general paper craft. But these supplies can be used for lots of different things, and oh my gosh, we've made a card. So once you do this, you'll be like, I made a card. I can't believe it. I can send it to someone, and they will be so impressed. And they will probably say, you made that? Get out. I can't believe it. And super cute inside. You have the little hint of the baker's twine inside. Now let's just go out on a limb, right? I very rarely follow the recipe. Let's go out on a limb and let's stamp on our envelope. Why? Because we can. Because we want to practice with the stamping, right? So we just peel that sentiment off. We've cleaned it, and so keeps your hands clean when you do that. And then let's use the lemon, or it could be a lime, or yeah. Let's use this guy though. So again, kind of just pouncing. I should do that so you can watch me, right? Pounce, and then I'm going to do this without my paper piercing mat, but that's okay. And it will go in the center of the envelope. Great, so cute. And then clean, clean, clean. That's all you need to do. Peel it off, right? And then we're gonna grab the leaves. Do the same thing. Ooh, that's pretty. I do love Night of Navy. I'm gonna put the leaves kind of falling over a little bit. Look at that. So right from the get-go, whoever you send this to is going to be like, well, this is not the usual card I get from them, because normally it says Hallmark. This card has a stamped sentiment on it. You're gonna blow their minds. You will, trust me. There's also these 3 little flowers that are fun. They probably are used in the design, and I think we're gonna use them in one of the cards. Okay, first card done. Set that aside, and let's take a look at another one. I wish you were here talking to me so you could tell me which one to do next. But why don't we do this? This is a different layout, right? This is a portrait style layout instead of landscape. And it's very cute, and it's just sunny. It says hello sunshine. I mean, what more could you want? I love it. Okay. Let's take a look, and again, you have the instructions that tell you what to do, okay? We can tell though, whoops, we need that over here. We can tell from the picture what we need our supplies to be. We need another polka dotted card, but this time we're using Calypso Coral polka dots. Then we need the image with the lemons. Beautiful. And you could recreate this look with our inks and the stamps that you already have. Then we know we're going to need a thin Night of Navy banner across the front. We have that. We also need our stitched sentiment banner. Beautiful. And we're going to need some baker's twine, but those are all the papers that we need. Super cute. And we need our hello sunshine. Oops. Come on now, don't fight me. Don't make me look bad. All right, I'll go ahead and put this back into my paper. Hello sunshine. All right, and remember, block to stamp gets it straight. One reason I'm saying that is because if you take the stamp and put it on the block, sometimes you end up getting it crooked, right? Because these stamps are pliable. You can use that to your advantage if you wanted to change the layout of a stamp, and we will talk about that in another episode. But for right now, we want the stamps straight. So in order to get that, you lay it down and then take the block to the stamp, and that gets you the straight image. Okay? Little tip there. We're racking up those tips. I should have a counter, you know, over in the corner. Speaking of, oh, I didn't have my little icon in the corner. Ooh. So one reason why I'm just now filming this video is because there are lots of graphics and graphic choices and things you have to learn. And so, hey, while my graphics may seem really simplistic, it took me a while to figure out how to get these things on the screen. So just, you know, please show me some grace. Bear with me if something, God forbid, shows up upside down. I really have tried not to do that. Okay, let's stamp our sentiment, right? Our hello sunshine. And again, we don't have an ink choice because we're using the Night of Navy. So that's kind of nice, like it's a no-brainer. Kits are really fun to take to someone's house or to get out like a board game, right? So when you have a group of people over to your house, sit around the table and make cards, or sit outside these days, right? Because we're all trying to social distance. You can socially distance and make cards at the same time. And then everybody, let's say everybody, like at the very same time, you all send out a card, because the second part of the fun is you make the card, but then you have to send out the card, because then the recipient gets fun too. And in turn, that makes you feel good, and then everybody just has the good feels. In fact, one of my demonstrator friends told me one time that the recipient gets happy, right? But the giver actually receives 4 times more happiness than the recipient. Oh, I love that, because I love to make a recipient happy, but it makes me happy as well. And then they'll say like, oh my gosh, I just got your cute card, and that I just needed it that day. And then that makes you feel good, doesn't it? See, and you just keep feeding off of each other, but in a good way. Okay. This is so fun. I like it. I like it right away. Now, this is popped up on Dimensionals, but before we glue it to the front of the page, I can tell right now that this twine wraps around our element, right? And oops, that's in French. That's not going to help me. So it tells us, number 5, wrap twine once around the panel, then tie in a bow. You can definitely vary that, and I do. You might want to keep in mind though, this is the twine for all 15 cards, and it looks like you use it on every card. That's the only reason why I might be a little careful with the twine, because obviously if you use twice as much, there's going to be extra in here, but there's not going to be twice as much. So you just have to vary some of the other designs. So again, I just took this particular cue of tying the twine before I put the dimensionals on from the picture. And again, the picture is very dimensional, and you can see things that are up on dimensionals versus not. And so it's pretty easy. All right, tie my little bow off to the left, but I have this upside down. So this is not really directional. Let's see. The print, sometimes the print is directional, right? It will have like a top and a bottom. Sometimes it's not directional though. And that means you can tie it either way. I just happened to like the look of it this way. And then you see I'm retying my bow. That will happen, especially with baker's twine. It's a little small sometimes. Gets lost in my nails. It's a hazard. It's a nail hazard. You'll get used to it. It's okay. And then I'm gonna pull the tails out. Now this one was a little big, right? So I'm pulling the tails out. When you pull the tails and you have baker's twine, hold that knot, because if you don't, baker's twine will twist on itself until it's just one twist and no knots, okay? So make sure that you hold that knot down and then pull the tails. Okay, and that's great, and it's gonna be kind of sideways underneath our other elements. Now we can put this up on Stampin' Dimensionals. Now see, this goes faster after we kind of get through the basics, right? Even though we start right away, we do have a little bit of ground to cover with vocabulary and how to block your stamp, things like that. But now that we know all about Stampin' Dimensionals, we just put those on and fly like the wind. All right. And this goes down in the lower right corner. Of course, I like to have a little bit of margin even on the bottom. Just personal preference and just trying to follow the directions. Okay. Now this is going to go, this is like yet another little hint or tip and trick. I want the angles to be that way, just like on the card. So this is already popped up, if you will. The right hand side is already sort of popped up because it's going to be sitting on an element that's on dimensionals. However, this side has nothing. So this side needs a dimensional, and then this side needs our adhesive dots. Okay? So you will have, in your card making, you will do this often, where different elements are on different levels. And sometimes you won't remember that, and then you'll have to take adhesives off, and that's just how we roll. But if you can avoid that, do, because you don't always get those adhesives off. They're meant to stick. But there are some creative ways of getting around oopsie type things. Maybe I'll have to do an episode where we just talk about fixing oopsies. Maybe 2 episodes. I have a lot of oopsies sometimes. I always tell people they have no idea what masterpiece is hiding under their finished card. Because sometimes I might take a stab at it a couple of times before I get the layout just how I want it. Okay, and when you do that, let's see if I can show you. Yes, perfect. You can see the dimensionals in here, and then you can see that one dimensional right here, bringing it all to the same level on the front of your card. Makes it look nice, professional, interesting, and then we are going to put this on top of all that. See how we're just gathering layers, and we are going to make it so the bow kind of sticks out like that. I think that will pop up our sentiment. We can move this down just a little bit. It's also one reason why when I put my Stampin Dimensionals on, I put them in the corners away from the twine. Then if you need to redo the twine for any reason, it's okay. Now this is just going to have adhesive dots, right? Because you can add a 3rd layer. But remember that sometimes you're going to mail this in the post office, and depending on how many layers and how thick things are, they need extra postage, or they need different envelopes or stuff like that, especially if you're sending things internationally. You need to make sure you remember all of this. Some of our cards that we will be making will require extra postage, and I always have that on hand. In fact, once I set this, I will show you what those stamps look like. Okay. Hello, sunshine. And again, they've kind of put it off to the side, and that just builds interest in this card, right? Last time it was completely, was kind of symmetrical. Also a fun look. But for this one, it's going to be asymmetrical. Also fun. That's why you can kind of do what you want, and nothing's wrong. It's always right. Okay, so let me get these stamps out. I was just looking at them this morning. So if you're going to go to the post office and you are going to buy stamps for special cards, so cards that have lots of dimension on the top, and let me just grab one to show you. Cards that have lots of dimension or interest, embellishments. Okay, so here's a shaker card I made, right? It's got a lot of depth to it. Let me try and show you that. It's got depth, it's got shakers, it's got these sorts of gilded gems that have lots of texture. This card needs extra postage. This card doesn't need extra postage. It's going to go just fine. Now, if you had a bulky ribbon or another bulky embellishment and whatnot, it would need extra postage, but I think it'll go just fine. So back to this one. This one needs stamps that what we call in the United States non-machinable surcharge. They're 65 cents, so they add like an extra 15 cents. But basically, as I understand it, they don't scan these automatically. They get hand stamped. Lots of times, if this were to get scanned automatically through the sorting machine, these would get crushed, fall off, dig into the existing design. It's not pretty, friends, okay? So you need these. And also, to my knowledge, when you buy them at the post office, they just look like this. I don't think they have other designs, at least not in my area. So you're looking for these California dog face stamps. And this is the total postage you will need for a handmade card that needs extra handling. Okay? So, with these cards that we're making though, by and large, I think regular postage is fine. Just want you to know that, because once you start building and finding out how fun it is, you'll make all sorts of cards. You will make some sorts of cards that can only be hand delivered. Trust me on that. Because sometimes you just want to make a fancy fold out card. And, you know, it's just fun to deliver those. We also have see-through envelopes. We have clear envelopes. So when you are making cards to go with a gift, it's really fun to color coordinate the gift wrapping and the card. And then you put the card in the clear, and that way you kind of show it off. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like to show off my work. All goes back to show and tell, doesn't it? Okay, now we've got our three little flowers again. I mean, it worked so well for the first time. We're gonna use it again. Oh my gosh. You know, I think this every single time, which is why I've been using Stampin' Up! Products for, like I said, over 25 years. Here's what I think. This is so cute. I can't believe it. It's so much better than the catalog, even though the catalog is great. And this is true with this one. I mean, the supplies, the quality of them, the color. Look at this one. It's so adorable. Who wouldn't want to get this in the card or in the mail, especially right now? You know, we've got a lot we're dealing with physically, mentally, emotionally. Why not just send a card to a friend, family member, grandma, mom, brother, sister? I send cards to my brothers. Sometimes they might even, I mean, they're not usually what I would call a girly card, but these cards really have no gender, don't they? They're fine. They're fine for men or women, children, grandparents. Okay, let's make one more. I think you don't need to watch me make all of the cards, because I know you can figure this out, because it's so easy. We're going to make one though, and we are going to change the layout just slightly. So we're going to use this one, Way to Go. Way to Go could be like graduating, especially now. We want to celebrate our graduates, right? Because sometimes they're not able to have formal graduations. So it's very nice to send a card. And this card is also kind of what I would call a unisex card. It's just got a beautiful green stripe on it. Love it. Okay, and it has a thin, see, I'm gathering my pieces. And then we need the sentiment, the white sentiment paper. Where would I be if I was the sentiment paper? Come on now. Probably right to the side. Oh, there we go. All right. Way to go. We need another one of these longish ones. But the nice thing with the sentiment cutouts is that Stampin' Up! Has designed these to go with the size of the sentiments in the kit. So you don't have to worry about these not working with the stamps. because they were made to work with at least one of the stamps in the kit. Another thing they do for us that really you don't even stop to think about because it's just automatic. The same reason that you know that if you get a block in a kit, all of the stamps are meant to fit on that block. You don't have to look elsewhere. Okay, so let's stamp our way to go. Look at this. It's so cute. And there's those little backing papers. Remember what I told you? You know, I just think of them as like a fun little sprinkle of reminder of all the fun I have in here. And then I don't mind it so much. I do wonder how many are actually in my trash though. Like how many have I peeled in a lifetime? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I have no idea. Okay, way to go. Going up on the block here. And just firm pressure. You don't want to rock the stamp back and forth. Let me show you that. If you rock the stamp back and forth, depending on the design of the stamp itself, it could go really wrong. I don't know if it'll go really wrong because this is kind of a thin stamp. But if we rock it and you just really get your pressure in there, some of the lines get too thick and a little disheveled. It doesn't look as clean as this, right? So again though, that's just something you have to work on with scratch paper and just trying it. This is a very tactile hobby as well as visual hobby. That is one thing I love about it so much. Get to look and touch at all of the cool stuff. And when you send a card, people will do the same thing. They will look at all those little flowers. They will wonder like, what are those? Is plastic? Are they fabric? What is that? And these are the 3 little flowers, remember? They used it in this design. So cute. Okay, you can just see easily that they've been inked up. I'm going to try that though. Oh, it looks good. In general, the smaller the stamp, the least or the lesser amount of pressure you need to put on them, okay? The other thing we can do is, oh my gosh, I didn't ink it, but I still got a design. This is called generational stamping. So this is the fresh ink on the stamp, never been stamped. That is called first generation stamping. Then this is called second generation stamping. And do you see what happened? We got a different tone of the same ink. That is how you can vary the colors of the stamp pads you have while you're just trying to build your stash. So we get like a dark blue, a light blue. Just a little bit of fun there. You can do that with, I would say, any color, even the light colors. Sometimes the light colors will have a very light second generation, right? But you can still see it. Lots of times I will kind of watermark things, and I do that through second, third, fourth generation stamping, depending on the color. So I want you to try that because it's fun. Okay, now this is going to be up here, and we will have that. We're also just going to have a bow. They did not tie this one around the card. They just tied a bow. Now here's where I'm going to use some extra supplies. So I may have to give up the twine on another card, but I'm going to use some extra because I want a double bow. So here I've just grabbed, probably 20 inches of the twine. Now I'm going to cut that so you have like 2 strips, 10-ish inches. Might be a little more than I need. I really like it when you tie the twine with 2 layers. Now again, hold that knot so it doesn't twist on you so much. Yeah, okay. The tails are a little long, but You don't want to short yourself. Okay, so now I have a bow that has a little more body to it, right? A little more, might stand up a little more. So we will use that. You might get away with still using, you might have that much extra easily on your bolts of twine. The other thing you could do, with some of them at least, is you could wait until the end to apply the bows. Of course, you wouldn't be able to put them around items, but you'd be able to see exactly how much twine you had. Okay, here we go. I need this little guy. All right, so for this one, we need those adhesive dots again. This main image is laying down flat. First layers lay down flat a lot because then you build upon them, right? Or build out from them. Like with the banner, sometimes it was like part flat and part not flat. So, super fun. More dots for Tango and Cash's nose. Gosh, they've been quiet right this whole time, knock on wood. Right before I came on, they were, you know, I think they're kind of bored. I took them for a car ride this morning, but they're like, we need more, Mom. So they were trying to talk each other into racing out the dog door as fast as they could, barking. And I was hoping that wasn't going to go on the whole time. Ah, perfect timing. Okay, I'm going to put this on there crooked, so crooked you can't even believe it. Because again, we like different, right? We like to look at interesting things that don't necessarily everything go in a straight line. I am going to put the words on straight though, because that's okay. I don't mind it. But again, I'm just going to vary this. Okay, and then, and you can also, you can bring in some more of the supplies from other cards and start mixing and matching. And then pretty soon you've made all your own designs. It's like following a recipe for food, right? Maybe not for pastries. Let's just say if you're cooking lunch or dinner. The first time you might make it exactly as the recipe calls for. But then the second and third time and so on, you're gonna vary it. You're gonna vary it based on what you have, what you're feeling like having that day, stuff like that. Okay, so. Oh, see, I changed my mind. That's gonna be, the sentiment's not gonna be straight. But it's still very readable. That's all you need to worry about. It's gonna be straight with the design, not with the bottom of the card. Oh. I'm putting these all over the place, but really, there. Hope you saw that. Those are a little bit repositionable. You really just need them in the center-ish because the only thing you're adhering this to is that slim blue banner. Come on now. Get out there. Okay. Way to go and way to go. And this is really easy to center because, again, you just use the points, put it in the center of the blue strip. So cute. Okay, I talk to my cards quite often. I tell them they're cute, or I tell them to work with me or quit fighting me, or sometimes they're even naughty. But normally, I can revive a card, no matter how wayward it's gone. Might not be what I thought about, but in the end, I like it. I'm not quite sure I want this bow. It's a fun bow. I think I kind of want it up here so that we can get maximum enjoyment out of those long tails that I made, right? I may as well use them. I'm not going to like trim all of them off, and then I'm going to cut these a little bit. Like I said, I like to give the tails a haircut only once they're on the card. I don't want it to go outside the margins because that's hard when you're putting it in an envelope. But otherwise, I think it's super cute. Looks like it has curls. And then let's finish with some of those beautiful flowers, right? Can't get away from these. They're very addicting. Wait until you see them. You're gonna love them. And you're gonna want to use them on other creations. Okay, again, glue dot in the center of each little flower. Glue dots are clear, so even if you don't get them completely centered, it's okay. That's all right. I am giving you permission. I don't want you to get hung up on it. I just want you to have a fun experience. And I'm going to put one on the color so it's really, you can really see it. And yes, what I hope for everyone with paper crafting is what I get from it. And the easiest way to describe that is just joy. Paper crafting has gotten me through the best of times and the worst of times. And it's always something I come back to, especially during COVID. It has been a definite comfort. And giving the cards is just extending that comfort, right? It's just a fun way. Now, I don't like that immediately because they're too lined up. There we go. Oh my gosh. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, we're not going to make the other two designs because I think you can handle it. And this video has already gone on over an hour. I will try to keep them less than that. I'll probably just try to break them up into simpler components. But we're going through a whole kit today. I wanted you to know that you can start this. Just start it. Just by simply buying the kit and starting it, right? It's super easy. It doesn't take a lot of prep time. It doesn't take a lot of supplies. And it doesn't take a lot of know-how, quite frankly. A lot of it can be figured out trial and error. And you can grow your stash of supplies as you go along. Let me try and make a pretty little picture for you so you can see all of our beautiful cards that we made just this morning, or sorry, I shouldn't say this morning, whatever time it is you're watching this. Again, this was the all-inclusive citrus kit, and I am going to now show you a couple of slides that you can use as screenshots so that if you are really taken with this kit and you would like to purchase it, just take a screenshot of this, then head on over to the Stamping Zoo, hit my Shop Now tab, and you'll be there. You will be at the website. So these are the supplies that we actually used. So the supplies you actually need to complete the cards as directed in the kit, right? Okay, so there's the first one, and then here's the second one. This is a little list of things you might like to have. I included the Take Your Pick tool and the Simply Chamois, which we actually used, right? But then I also included 3 things that are staples to a paper crafter, and that is a black ink pad, a paper trimmer, and Stampin' Seal adhesive. And so that is a double-sided roller of tape. It's very handy to have. These are 3 things that I use weekly. I use a couple of them daily. So I hope you appreciate that. Again, just an easy little shopping list for you. But if you have questions about what to order, how to order, if you ordered, please just get a hold of me through my website or again on my Facebook page. I check both of those every day. So again, thank you so much. This was exciting, my first episode. Okay, and there will be more. So again, have a great day. Happy stamping, and I will see you next time.